right, bet. What is going on, everyone? It's your boy Artie, Executive Director from Mr. Art, and today we are doing our 2024 NFL Draft offensive preview. Had our first offensive preview last year. Similar situation now. We're going to give you we call it quarter one position rankings for the positions on the offense. Before we get into it, before we start having some fun, before we start trolling each other, how are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Doing all right. All right. Yourself?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How you doing, Cam?
I just realized I didn't text somebody I was supposed to text in a timely manner. I'm dead. That was a good
Yeah,
dude.
my
That was a good dude.
yeah, my beautiful girlfriend is downstairs right now. I'm hoping that we don't run this episode too long, so I can get back to her.
This nigga's in love. Pu.
For sure.
Thank you.
But listen, man, we're not gonna waste you guys' time today. Okay, we know
I am.
y'all are ready to hear these rankings. We know you guys are ready to break down with us how you feel about the 2024 draft class, because it is a very, very good class. But before we get into the rankings, I do have like a little topic I want to see where y'all heads at on. So, what's a prospect so far in your evaluations that you've gone through, right? Like specifically y'all positions, because as well, I guess we'll get to at some point in this episode, we all scout different positions. What's a player at your position that you scout that has blown you away the most? Like you cut that player's film on thinking one thing, and the moment you cut pause on the tape, you were like, wow. Like, who is the player that's wowed you so far in you guys' scouting process?
Go ahead, Kim.
I guess one that I was pretty impressed with compared to like the other reports I have been seeing. A lot of people I saw a lot of people kind of be a lot harsher on Chop than I thought they should have been. But then when I cut the tape on, I was like, no, you can work with that. Like, yeah, he definitely has things he clearly needs to work on, but he's not as bad. Like they were making it seem like he just had no bag, no moves. Like, no, he's still getting penetration. He's still being very, very good in the run game for his size compared to most of these other edges who I don't like, but we'll get to that later. So I say for me it's probably Chop.
Solid.
That's fair. For me, it's probably Cedric Gray from North Carolina. I mean,
Yeah, he's nice.
Everybody just talks on him because he does lose his focus every now and then in games where like he's scared to kind of go make that play. But I mean, really, when he's like really focused and wanting to make those types of hits, I mean, I think there's a fair argument he's the best linebacker in this class.
For sure.
I could not agree more with that. Cedric Gray is probably one of my favorite linebacker. Not outside of rankings, like he's probably my favorite linebacker. So I completely agree there. For me, this player is gonna like be out there. Like this player is not gonna be in the rankings, but we'll wink talk about him during Senior Bowl week. Isaiah Davis, running back from South Dakota State. Oh my god! When I cut that tape on, I was just like, FCS, like FCS, FBS, it's the same thing. Like that kid can freaking run the football. He's also outstanding in the pass game. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was watching him, like it was almost like seeing like a Felix Jones from Arkansas back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Just once he gets his hands on the ball, it's just like you're watching someone have so much creativity in space. So Isaiah Davis, the running back from South Dakota State, as soon as I cut that tape on, I was like, man, let me figure out my running back rankings. But he didn't make my top 5 running back rankings, but he's in my top 10 for sure.
That's fair. I mean, he's definitely gonna get drafted. I think it's gonna be interesting to see where he gets drafted, but I could see him going day 2.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. It is time for me to unveil. Sorry, unveil. What the fuck? Um, unveil my current top 5 quarterbacks in the class of 2024. A very, very talented class. A class that features, some players that have been in the game for a while, got some skins on the wall. But it's here. I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna start with 5. Michael Penix. Now, I'm not a prisoner of the moment, right? The national title game didn't send me over the moon, as far as Michael Penix goes. But I do have some key statistics for you to explain why he's at 5 as of this moment. One, we do not know the medical information. Some of us will never know. Some of us will eventually know. And the people that need to know will know when they at the combine. But the one thing I do know is that all these names on this list right here, on third down, had a better completion percentage than Michael Penix. All of these quarterbacks on this list, throwing over the middle of the field, had a better completion percentage from Michael Penix. Third down and middle of the field, as far as playing quarterback, is the most important type of throw you need to make. Because those are the throws you make the most. On most games, you're going to see a lot of third downs. On most games, you're going to be attacking the middle of the field. And I just was not blown away with Michael Penix's ability to attack the field, combined with his other issues. So that's why Michael Penix at 5. I currently have a second round grade on him. It's not final, you know what I'm saying? None of this is final. But I have Michael Penix coming in at number 5 in my 2024 quarterback rankings for the NFL draft. Number 4 is Bo Nix. Now, when it comes to Bo Nix, I also have some issues. That Auburn tape, I cannot get it out of my fucking head. No matter how much I try, it happened. But my God, the past 2 years, you can make the argument that Bo Nix has been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in college football. He's always on time with his reads. He's got a good enough arm. It's not great. It's good enough. And what I like about Nix is when he gets outside the pocket, he keeps his eyes downfield. He continues to be a threat to throw the ball outside the pocket. He was really good throwing on the run, specifically this season. This is probably one of the best seasons he's ever had as far as throwing on the run. Now, does that have a lot to do with Troy Franklin and Tez Johnson? Yes. But I look at Bo Nix. Bo Nix is the type of quarterback that Cam Newton was basically talking about. A game manager that can make enough plays to keep your team on schedule and in phase with the flow of the game. So I have Bo Nix at 4 for my 2024 quarterback rankings as of now. At number 3, and this is the biggest riser for me, y'all. The biggest riser for me throughout this whole scouting process. It's Jayden Daniels from LSU. These gentlemen right here can tell you, during the season, I was saying I'm not evaluating Jayden Daniels. I'm not scouting him. I'm not scouting him. I don't want to hear anything about him. When I cut that tape on, he shut me up. He was outstanding this year throwing from the pocket. For his standards. He was outstanding throwing from the pocket. He's got the best deep ball in the class, only in rival to Michael Penix Jr. His ability to know when to take off and know when to remain a passer is right up there with the top 2 names on this list. I mean, there were times where Jayden Daniels was toying with defenders, rolling left, knowing he wasn't going to throw the ball, and just baiting them into just taking a half step forward and then running right around them. But he's a dynamic athlete, really, really good deep ball. What I like, better touch over the middle of the field, yes. But I think that because of his athleticism, a lot of the third downs that he will see will convert more than a standard pocket passing quarterback due to his athleticism. So if you get him paired with a coordinator who's willing to invest in him, teach him the ropes of how to play the quarterback position, I think Jayden Daniels could be a successful NFL starting quarterback. 2, Drake May, quarterback from North Carolina. I'm going to let it be known now. You say something about Drake May, I'm coming for you. I will defend Drake May this entire draft season harder than I will ever defend Caleb. Who are some other petty cats? Malik Neighbors. You say something about Drake May, you're going to have some problems with me. All right? You say something about Drake May, you're going to have some problems with me. No bias, though. It's just Drake May's name has been dragged through the mud this process. By some. Some people have him as quarterback 1. But most pundits have him at quarterback 2. But Drake May. Drake May is essentially your combination of Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Got the athleticism, sacrifices his body, will run over you, run through you, try to hurdle you. But man, his arm, he can throw absolute lasers with his arm. Now he can throw Stevies too. His accuracy is shaky. It can be shaky. But the thing with me that always reels me back in with Drake May is just the fact that he was only a redshirt sophomore. And beyond that, throughout each game, you see him grow as a player. There are moments, there are times where, he might get sacked. But in the same game, you'll see he'll, slide the protection, or he'll find a way to escape the sack and convert the next time. He doesn't normally make the same mistake twice. So for me, Drake May is my quarterback 2. I love most of the things about him. There are some things that he obviously needs to work on. Obviously needs to, limit the turnovers. Get that ball placement to where it should be more consistently. But there's only one quarterback who's more talented than Drake May in this class, and it's Caleb Williams, quarterback from USC. I'm going to be really short on him because there's really not much to say other than this is that variant of Patrick Mahomes that so many teams have been praying for since 2018. I mean, this kid can do everything you want. You want him to throw deep outs, deep ins all game. He can do that. Excuse me. You want him to, be the playmaker, get on the edge, throw balls on the move. He can do that. If you want him to turn a play out of nothing, a play that has nothing going for it, and make it into something spectacular, he can do that. But he can also trust his arm too much. He can also, put the ball on the turf. So he's not a perfect prospect, but he's everything that a modern NFL team would look for in their franchise quarterback. He's got the athleticism. He's probably going to run a 4.40. He's got the arm. Most talented arm in the class. Not the biggest, but the most talented arm in the class as far as being able to throw from different angles and all of those things. And and this is the thing that really separates him from everybody else. When the play breaks down, he finds a way to make magic happen. No one can create off script in this class or in so many classes before like Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is amazing with that. Amazing. So those are my current quarterback rankings for the 2024 NFL Draft. Number 5, Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. Bo Nix at number 4, quarterback from Oregon. Jaden Daniels from LSU at number 3. Drake May from North Carolina at number 2. And Caleb Williams from USC at number 1. Well, I'm done now, so you guys can grill me. Ask me questions, troll, whatever you want to do.
My list, outside of number 1, my list is completely different. I won't lie to you.
It's completely different.
There's not one of those players that's in the exact same number that is for you besides number 1.
Well, I guess let's start there. Where do you see the difference in the last 4 players? I'm curious. What differences do you see, and why you rank them differently in your rankings?
So Bo Nix wise, I mean, kind of how you put it with the Auburn tape. It's just that's so hard to not judge him on. It's so hard not to judge him on. Like I understand his recent success at Oregon, but Oregon's always been a better offensive school than Auburn has. And I think we're still going to see the same jump from Dylan Gabriel, who just transferred to Oregon from OU. I just don't believe in Bo Nix. I personally would have him number 5. I don't think he's better than Penix. I mean, that goes for that. But yeah, I mean, number 2, I'd actually probably have Jaden Daniels. And then I'd probably finish it with Penix 3, May 4, Nix 5.
May at 4?
Yeah, I'd probably put May at 4.
Wow.
As of now, yeah. I'd probably put May at 4.
I mean, hey, we see it differently, but why? Here's my last follow up before I let Cam give his reaction. Why May at 4? Like I could see May at 3, but why May at 4? What do you like about Penix that May doesn't have, Brennan?
Honestly, with May, it's just more of because I like to evaluate quarterbacks who off competition. And it's not saying that May doesn't play any type of good competition, but at the same time, I don't. Yeah, his tape's good, but I mean, we're talking about playing schools like Louisville, Duke. I mean, at best, Clemson. And then when you flip over to Penix, who's having to go through Oregon 2 times a year. I mean, we're talking about going against quarterbacks like Bo Nix, going back and forth, and winning those type of games. I don't know. We'll see how it ends up being at the time of the draft, but for now, I have May just below Penix. You could probably convince me to switch him, but at number 2, I have locked on Daniels right now.
I respect it. Well, Cam, it's your turn. It's your turn to make everybody laugh because I know you had jokes. That you were thinking about the whole time.
I mean, I'll be short with it. To be honest, I don't think the list is bad. The only one I will really switch is obviously Penix and Nix. I'm not really a big Nix believer.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard for me to. It's just really hard for me to just be like, he's a different guy. I don't know. It's really hard for me to look at it like that. Like, yeah, Oregon did make him look really good, and that's what OCs and QB coaches are there for, to make your quarterback look good. But I just can't have him over Penix. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I liked Penix even when he was still in Indiana, to be real with you. So
yeah,
I just I can't go with Nix over Penix. Other than that, the list I understand, it's fine to me. I couldn't justifiably put Penix above Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels just had he's had an insane 2 years. Like
He's
Penix has
gotten
had an
better
insane.
every year, bro. Every year he's played college football, he's gotten better.
Exactly. Daniels is just it's fucking nuts. And then I really do like Drake May. You helped me see the light when it came to Drake May as somebody who was away from the sport for a while, and then I came back to it, and you were like, oh yeah, but this Drake May guy is really nice. I'm just like, but who is he? And then when I actually sat down and watched some games, and I looked at the tape, I was like, okay, I see what Artie sees, and
Yeah.
he is going to be he's going to be a very productive QB in the league. So yeah. But
Yeah.
besides that, only switch would be Penix to 4 and Nix to 5, and I'll probably just leave it at that. I mean, oh my bad, I forgot QB1. It's obviously Spencer Rattler. So I gotta pull up the graph. I gotta pull up the graph. I gotta pull up the graph that I had to send in the chat for y'all.
Go Spurs, I guess. Go Spurs.
He was the only one with the dark green, man. Everybody else was fucking up somewhere.
I guess my last question to you would be, where would you put this quarterback class compared to past? Like, put it up against 2020, the Burrow to Herbert year. I guess if you want to include, your favorite Jalen Hurts as well, but
Fuck you. Oh man. Shit.
So basically, you saying like who's who?
Shit. Oof. So it's close. And I'll say what. Here's why I'll say why. I'll say why it's close. Hurts has had success. Now, how you categorize Jalen Hurts' success in the league is up to your own interpretation. That's a whole different conversation that will take this pod a whole different direction. But Jalen Hurts has had some success in the league. Justin Herbert has been a good quarterback in a terrible situation for years. Tua has been gifted an infrastructure that's allowed him to be successful. And Burrow has had an abundance of talent, but is also talented. When you look at this list, there's a Joe Burrow on here. There's a Tua Tagovailoa on here. There's a Jalen Hurts on here. There's a Justin Herbert on here. So, I see it, but the difference is, and this is no disrespect to Joe Burrow at all, I swear. I think Caleb Williams has a higher floor than Joe Burrow had coming out as a prospect. And here's why. Joe Burrow, when he came out, people forget this. He had 1 year of tape. What do we always talk about? When you're evaluating these players, if you got 1 year of tape, I don't freaking trust you. Anybody can have a good year. Anybody can have a good year. Do it again. Do it again. Caleb Williams, for 2 years, has clearly looked like the most talented quarterback in the entire country. Honestly, you can make the argument he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the world. So, that's the difference for me. It's like 2020, except you have a bona fide superstar quarterback at the top. And that's not to say that Joe Burrow wasn't looking like that, when he was coming out. But I think Joe Burrow, and this will be a conversation that we have later, I think Joe Burrow has been elevated by Jamar Chase and all the playmakers on that offense. So that's how I would answer that question, brother.
So we are agreeing that Joe Burrow is a system quarterback. That's all I did.
God. Listen, I know they're your ops, man, but you can't say stuff like that.
That's all I had to hear. That's all I had
Ravens
to hear.
fan, man.
So biased. Gosh, so biased. Y'all ready for my running back rankings? Y'all ready for my running back rankings? What you mean? What does it depend on?
Depends on the names I see on there.
You said Jonathan Brooks is RB1. Jonathan Brooks is RB1.
He is not.
Damn.
He is not
Give me Trey
RB1.
Benson. Yep, Trey Benson.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Huh?
All right.
Ooh, Bucky Irving.
Now, I had a last-minute change of heart on this one because I was looking at my list.
Ooh.
I was feeling good, and I looked at 5, and I was just like, is he really 5? And it's not the names you think. I'll say the name later, but it's not the names you think. So, this motherfucker spelled his name wrong.
Yeah. Nah, don't blame other people. It says
No,
priority.
I
Yeah,
typed in his name correct. He spelled it wrong.
No. What does it say at the bottom? By Artie. Don't lie. Don't lie. Yeah. Nah, it's too late. It's over. We got
He
you.
spelled his name wrong. Oh my gosh, real. You're selling, bro. You're selling.
Nah, real. It says by Artie. Don't fall for that. He's trying to make you the scapegoat. Don't fall for that, real. You ain't doing nothing wrong.
Audric Estimine. Where do we start? I guess the first thing you start with is the contact balance, right? Audric Estimine is one of the best backs in this class as far as handling contact. You hit Audric Estimine, you're probably shedding right off of him, right? I love the patience. The vision is okay. It's not like it's bad. But all the running backs in this class have like spotty vision, except for a couple. Like this is the class out of all the running backs I've ever scouted where it's like everybody's vision is just like so like piss poor. You know? Like so the vision is spotty, but the contact balance and the pass protection. Now, people are gonna look at me when I say this pass protection, like, why the fuck is he bringing up pass protection? Well, Audric Estimine is so damn good at it that like it's a positive for me. Like when people try to beat him on blocks, like he's stonewalling edges. That's not easy to do. Cam can tell you that. If a running back stones an edge, that's pretty fucking good. So Audric Estimine, I just love his physical nature. He showed a lot after contact this season as well, as far as, you know, getting hit and still running forward with the football. So, really like Audric Estimine. Very, very physical, bigger back. Bucky Irving, man. Bucky Irving is your everyday 5'10", 195, do it all type guy. Very, very good in the pass game, right? That's something that I think day one he can contribute to an NFL team. Then come in and catch the ball for you, specifically on third downs. He is explosive once he sees it. Once he sees it is the key. Once he sees it. He is explosive as a player, but when he sees the hole and hits the hole, he can be very explosive getting through there. Really, really good in the open field. Can get really shifty, you know what I'm saying? Can really force some missed tackles, especially with that slender type, shorter build. Love that. Don't love the pass pro. Do not love the vision. But overall, I think Bucky Irving, if you get him in a good offensive scheme with a good offensive play caller, Bucky Irving can be a nice chess piece that you can insert into your NFL offense. Number 3, Braylon Allen, running back from Wisconsin. Already done a film session on him for the department. It's on the channel right now. Doing very well, by the way. 600 views and counting. This dude's a freak. All right, let me be frank. This dude's a freak. He's 20 years old. He's 6'2". He's 240. He's probably going to run a 4.4. Like, this dude's a freak. Just a freak. He got recruited to Wisconsin to play linebacker. They converted him to running back. And he decided to join Wisconsin football team early. He reclassified up to play football with the Wisconsin Badgers in 2021 and was outstanding in that year. Contact balance galore. You hit Braylon Allen, just like Estimine, you bounce right off. Like, trying to tackle Braylon Allen, it takes 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, outstanding. For not having a lot of pass production, catching production, he has very, very soft hands. Very, very soft hands. Like, every time that he had an opportunity to catch the ball, he more than likely caught it. The problem was Wisconsin's offense was so archaic for those 2 years until this year, they didn't even try to throw to him. So I would love to see, more pass production, more pass opportunities at the next level. But he can catch the ball. Solid in pass protection. Solid in pass protection. I think the main thing for Braylon Allen is he's got to stop fumbling the football. This past season, he had 6 fumbles, and, he had a couple games with multiple fumbles. And when you're a running back, when your shelf life is this short in the league, you've got to be able to hold on to the football. That is so mandatory. That is the most important thing to having a successful career is you being able to carry the ball. Your health and maintaining the ball is the most important thing to you. So you got to correct that. But the good news, draft fans, is this. He's 20 years old. He's 20. Actually, is he 19? He's going to be 20 as a rookie. So you have a young player who's talented. You have a chance to develop. And with the way the running back position is going, you can pay him if you want, but you might not even have to pay him. Or if you want to, he'll still be 24 years old. So imagine, you getting a player at 20, and by the time his contract is up, he's still 24. The same age as some rookies that are going to be coming into the NFL. So Braylon Allen is a very rare case when it comes to prospects, as far as age. Number 2, Jonathan Brooks from Texas, the very, very talented young player. Torrey ACL, that is a factor in why he's number 2. Yes, Hunter is saluting his beloved Longhorns there. That is a factor why he's number 2. But Braylon Allen. Jonathan Brooks is everything that you look for in a modern NFL running back. He's a do-it-all guy. 3 downs. Excellent at catching the pass. Excellent after contact. Outside of my number 1 running back, Jonathan Brooks was the best running back that I saw on tape as far as how he handled post-contact, getting extra yardage. He was outstanding in that, starting at breaking tackles. I think he had a yards after contact rate of like 3.9. And, anything above 3.5 is good. But once you get run that 4 range, that's when you're cooking. So, Jonathan Brooks, just an outstanding young player who was in the shadow of Bijan Robinson for most of his career. He did not get a lot of opportunities to carry the football. And when C.J. Baxter went down this year, he made the most of those opportunities to the point where now he's number 2 on my 2024 running back rankings right now. So, shout out to Jonathan Brooks. He's an outstanding player. But number 1 has been number 1 all year since the summer. It's Trey Benson from Florida State. Trey Benson might be the most dynamic runner I've ever scouted. That's a mouthful to say because there's Bijan Robinson, there's Jahmyr Gibbs, there's a plethora of other guys. But why I say he's the most dynamic runner is because Trey Benson, at any point, can be running normal, and then he just kicks those fucking legs into another gear, and he is just out there. He's gone. He can just hit another gear as a running back. He can run away from defensive backs in a way that I have just not seen since I've been scouting. He's got some of the best vision in this class. He, just like Braylon Allen, did not get a lot of pass catching opportunities. But man, oh man, when he did, he made the most out of them. There was a play specifically in the Clemson game, I'm sure you remember this, Burner, and watching Trotter, where he had a corner up the sideline and he caught a pass over Barrett Carter. who, if he would have came out, would have been one of the best linebackers in this class. So Trey Benson is he's amazing. I love Trey Benson. I'm interested to see how everybody else at the department feels about him, because I'm perfectly comfortable having him in our top 35 by Big Board. That's how much I believe in Trey Benson. I'm not saying a lot, because some people don't even have running backs in the top 50. But I think Trey Benson is just that talented of a player. He's that good of an athlete. Should run a 4.4 at the combine. You know, being 6'1", 220. Like, Trey Benson is him, y'all. Trey Benson is him. And he should absolutely be the first running back to hear his name called in the 2024 NFL Draft. So, again, my top 5 running back rankings at this moment. Arthur Estimine from Notre Dame. Bucky Irvin from Oregon. Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. Jonathan Brooks from Texas. And Trey Benson from Florida State. Solid? No, everybody agrees? Everybody agrees? Solid?
Where's Will Shipley? You were loving him this whole season.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I'm surprised you didn't put Will Shipley at 5. I mean, I agree with your top 4. Your top 4 is my top 4. I mean, I think that's spot on.
Yeah. That
was
was
an argument, though, for actually Irving to be above Allen because of Allen's fumbling problems.
Yeah. And the only reason I did it was because of the just the body frame, right? 5'10", 190 to 6'2", 240, when they're probably going to run a similar 40. Like, you see what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And he's also younger. But, yeah, Cam, Will Shipley was that mystery 5. I had him at 5, and then I just really just thought about it, and I was just like, I think Estimine is just ranked higher, you know, among, you know, and I'm not saying it's like I care what the media people think, but I'm saying, like, I think Estimine has a higher draft floor than Shipley. Like, I like Shipley.
What about Blake Corum?
But I think... Who?
What about your favorite Blake Corum? Where do you got Corum at?
Yeah, where's the GOAT?
Corum is 7.
So who's the other man ahead of him?
Will Shipley.
You said he's 7. Wait.
No Ray Davis?
No.
Not the old man?
No. Isaiah Davis is higher than him. No. No Ray Davis. Marshawn Lloyd is higher than him, is he? Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised you don't have Marshawn Lloyd above Corum.
Nah, Marshawn Lloyd for me. I need more consistency down to down. I need more consistency down to down. So that's where I'm at with running backs. Let's get to the nitty-gritty, man. Let's get to what everybody wants to see. It's a dynamic position every year. Let's get to it. The 2024, my 2024 current wide receiver rankings are right here. And I can tell by the faces, this is going to be a very, 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 very interesting discussion. And I'm ready for any and all responses. Let's actually start at the top this time. Let's start at the top. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver from Ohio State. This young man is one of the best draft prospects that we have seen in quite a long time. 6'4", 205, can run every route you want him to run. Outstanding at the catch point. Can line up on every receiver spot and be useful. He had an after the catch problem. He improved it this season. It's still not where it should be, but he improved it. He's a good athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like, Marvin Harrison Jr., pound for pound, you know, inch for inch, best receiver in this class. After him,
Can't see it.
that was an inside joke for Ghost. I'm not gonna say what he told me off air, but that was an inside joke. Ghost is gonna get that. Now,
Hey, yo, Poole.
now. After Marvin Harrison Jr., you could be talking about anybody at 2. I mean, I've seen some people have Adonai Mitchell at 2. I've seen Brian Thomas at 2. But my 2, as of right now, is Malik Neighbors. Now, I know that for a long time, I was saying that Rome was my 2. But I watched them side by side, which I'll probably do many more times this draft cycle. And I said, you know fucking what? I'm not just going to put Rome above Malik Neighbors because he's 6'3" and does similar things. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to trust my fucking gut. I'm going to trust my fucking head. Trust my fucking eyes. Because they tell me that Malik Neighbors is the second coming of CeeDee fucking Lamb. That's what they tell me. When I see Malik Neighbors, I see a dynamic receiver pre-catch and post-catch even more dynamic. I see someone who excels at 50-50 balls. Well, actually, I take that back. He's not excel. He's good. He can be better at 50-50 balls. But someone who excels at creating separation. Someone who excels at getting yards of the catch. Someone who excels at just finding ways to the end zone. The touchdown production is stupid. And it's stupid because you think about another guy on this list, he had damn 17 touchdowns himself. And they were still caught 15 of them hoes. Like, Malik Neighbors is amazing. Amazing. And the main reason why I have him over Rome of this moment is I just think that Neighbors in this NFL has a better opportunity to be a 1 than Rome does. I genuinely believe that. I think that Neighbors has wide receiver 1 potential more than Rome. It's not by much, but that's just what I feel. Rome, Odunze, 3. Why the switch, you probably are asking. 6'3", 190. Both of these guys are probably going to run a 4.4, by the way. I just look at Rome and I just say, you are great. You are good at everything. You're great at something, but you're good at everything. But my main pause with Rome is we've seen 6'3" guys before coming to the league after having success in college. I don't think this is going to happen with Rome. But I think that Rome, although it's gotten better, I still want to see him continue to evolve in beating that press coverage. Because you can get your hands at Rome's chest. You can. You're not touching Malik Neighbors' chest. You can touch Marvin sometimes, but he still has the athleticism to get around you. But you can put hands on Rome in his chest. I would just like to see him get better at that aspect. Because if he is going to be that one in the league, best believe he's going to be facing some more press coverage than he did at Washington. To 4 and 5, which I really am excited to hear both of you guys' opinion on. Adonai Mitchell is a stud. Adonai Mitchell is a stud. Everywhere he's gone, he's made big plays in big games for. In Georgia's 2 national championships, he got a touchdown. In the semifinal for Texas, he got a touchdown. In rather outstanding fashion, 50-50 ball. He's 6'4", 190. He's not the best route runner, but he gets open. He's not the best after the catch, but he offers. He's not even the fastest, but he just makes plays consistently in big moments. And that stands out a lot to me as a scout because how can you have all these years, all these seasons, battling injuries and everything, and still find ways to be so clutch, so dependable for your quarterback. Changing scenery, you know what I'm saying? Now I was thinking about this. Some of the best receivers in the league right now are the receivers who are either good after the catch or dominant in the red zone. Adonai Mitchell can be a absolutely dominant red zone threat for you. Day one. You can develop that route running. You can fine tune that later. But day one, Adonai Mitchell can be a red zone threat for you. Now, so can Keon Coleman, but Adonai Mitchell doesn't have drop problems like Keon Coleman. Adonai Mitchell doesn't just win on the deep ball like the guy underneath him. He wins at multiple areas on the field. So, Adonai Mitchell at 4. Brian Thomas Jr. at 5, because I'm long-winded. I've been talking for a long time. I'm ready to stop talking. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is the manifestation of I'm bigger than you, I'm fast too, and I get deep. Because that's what Brian Thomas does. He gets deep. Jaden Daniels and Brian Thomas was just such a beautiful connection to watch this season as far as the deep ball. But my thing with Brian Thomas and why he's not higher on this list is what else can you do? Deep targets, Brian Thomas Jr. was one of the best receivers in college football. On every other target, he was slightly above average at best. Now, you ask if he's slightly above average at best, why is he 5? 6'4", 210, probably going to run a 4.4. And he still has the potential to grow as a player. Look at a guy like T. Higgins. Now, Alfred T. Higgins has not reached his potential. But guys like this, players like this, are players that teams like to take chances on. It's easier to bet on a guy with excuse me. It's easier to bet on a guy with potential and upside with the physical attributes than a player with a high floor who's undersized and underweight. So, top 5 receivers at this moment for this 2024 NFL draft class. Number 1, Marvin Harrison Jr. Number 2, Malik Nabers. Number 3, Rome Odunze. Number 4, Adonai Mitchell. Number 5, Brian Thomas Jr. I am ready to be shot, stabbed, roasted. I'm ready for it. Give it to me.
Traitor. You traitor. You traitor. You were on the bandwagon with me and you switched up. Nah, I'm here alone. I don't need you. You stay on that side. You traitor.
Damn, Cam, I didn't know we had to break up publicly like this. Damn. Over Rome?
Can't believe
Over Rome?
Can't believe you. Can't
Did
believe
you have
you.
Rome too?
Yes, he's my number 2.
That's fair.
And basically, when you started talking about Brian Thomas Jr., like everything you just said to me just screamed DJ Chark.
Oh,
Which there's nothing wrong with. I remember when I really wanted DJ Chark, and I know for a fact we were gonna draft DJ Chark, but then the Jaguars were literally the pick ahead of us, and they took him, and we traded back. So that's how I knew we wanted DJ Chark. Other than that, I don't have a problem with the list. I know a lot of people really like AD Mitchell.
Adonai. He wants to be called Adonai.
My bad. I know a lot of people really like Adonai Mitchell. Keon Coleman is the one for a lot of people where it's like, where do we rank him? Is he in the top 5? Is he not? And you might get some Keon Coleman, truthers in your DMs. But other than
That's
that,
fine.
I think this
We can talk about Keon Coleman. You can also watch his film session. We can talk about him, but after yeah, had to plug ourselves, right? Um, after just reviewing, some of these other receivers, I'm just like, eh. The drop issues are too big for me. Y'all know how I feel about drops. Every receiver drops passes, but the drop issues, the focus drops for Coleman were just out of this world. So that's it. For me, as far as the players that I ranked, I scout only quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers at the scouting department. So we're gonna transition now into offensive line because Alice couldn't be with us tonight. I'll quickly go through his. Um, actually, what the fuck? Cut that shit. Cut that shit. What the fuck? What the fuck? Just gonna rewind. Okay, that didn't happen.
Oh.
That didn't happen.
Oh, he don't.
We're going to.
One last note though that I do want to make on your wide receivers. I agree with your wide receivers list 1 through 3. I think that I think it's perfect list between there. I'm actually a really big Brian Thomas fan, and as a Texas fan, obviously I'm gonna boost up Mitchell and all that. I'd probably actually take Mitchell out and probably throw in Troy Franklin at number 4.
He was my 6.
Okay.
So you see how I see it now, right? Those 5.
That's literally
Franklin, then Coleman, then Tez Walker. Then you see how I see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
I
really like Troy Franklin. He was going to be my 5 until I got to Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
So
his route running this year has just gotten so much better to me.
He abused man coverage. Yeah. Troy Franklin, this man coverage was outstanding this season. So, but I'm done talking. I'm done talking. I'm done. Boldick slander continues. I'm done talking. My voice is already almost gone. I'm going to let Burner talk about his tight ends. Then I'm going to find a way to get me some water.
Yeah, no, the tight ends in this class, at least at the very top between Bowers and Sanders, I mean, it's a very unique class. Probably the most, I wouldn't say top heavy, but we got 2 tight ends that are probably both going to go round 1. And I'd probably say it's both better than Mayer and Kincaid from a year ago. I like the top duo of Bowers and Sanders a little bit better. But with that, I'll start number 5. Nesbitt, a lot of people actually have him lower down on the rankings, but I actually see a guy that is very excellent in like short area quickness. He's very soft and has reliable hands. I actually really love his route running. I think he makes really nice cuts. He's difficult to cover in man coverage. Zone coverage, he does get taken out a lot. I mean, he just doesn't have great vision at times. In the passing game, I would not use him as a pass blocker. You cannot have him on the field as a pass blocker. He's terrible. He doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the power. He's just not going to be able to be a pass blocking tight end. But in the run game, I've seen people try and say, he's like Luke Schoonmaker. That's a name for a different time with Schoonmaker there. But Nesbitt, I mean, overall, he's a really good player between being a deep threat, intermediate routes, short receiving. It's just his blocking has to get better if he's going to be anything at the next level. Because most teams, if you're good in run pro and not good in pass pro, you're not going to really see the field in pass pro. So even when they're going to option you out, try and get you on a route, they're not going to put you out there if you can't pass block. If that quarterback doesn't have the trust in you to bring you back in, then there's just no use for you on the field. And then with Sennett, kind of the same thing for me, at least. He's versatile. I think he's probably the best deep threat tight end in this class. I was saying a lot to Brock Bowers. His hands are really, really good. He's coordinated. He shows the ability to get in and out of cuts a lot and create separation. He runs precise routes. He has good feel for man coverage, actually. when there's a open field, he does break off a lot. He looks to get downfield most of the time and is able to block multiple defenders out when the quarterback scrambles out left or right. But his problem is like Keon Coleman's, drops. He would be higher than Holker and arguably close to Sanders on this list if he would catch the ball. He just struggles to catch the ball. He has issues against press coverage at times where he just gets beat up at the line and just taken out of plays where he's just not even an option. Saw it a lot on tape for Will Howard this past year. Sinnott, I mean, he's best running downfield. He lacks the elite top speed to get off of press coverage. And, I mean, it just takes him out of plays a lot of the time. Not saying it's not going to, be a problem at the next level, but it's another reason why I have Ben Sinnott at 4 and not any higher on this list. And then number 3 for me, this is personally my favorite actual prospect in the entire draft.
Oh, man.
Holker. He's my pet cat in this draft. He can move the chains. He can be that deep threat. He has a massive catch radius and shows the ability to get up and get it. He's effective in the red zone. He displays good route running skills. He demonstrates solid blocking techniques. Probably want him to get a little bit better in the run game, though. I would say that he does need to adapt better when audibles are called, actually. There's a lot of time where he's not even looking at the quarterback, and he's not getting that play in. So he's not hearing the audible at all, which is kind of odd. You don't really see that a lot nowadays. More of that in high school ball, which I am worried about for Holker at the next level. Hopefully he does get that into his head about learning that. His athletic explosiveness is also not there to compete at the next level yet. He may struggle against press coverage, kind of like Sinnott as well. But I mean, if he can beat off of press coverage, I mean, I think there is a small, but I think there is an argument to have him number 2 for the tight end on this list. Because I mean, Holker he's better than what people think. That game versus Colorado, where he actually got national eyes on him, people were actually see what this kid was about. But I think we'll see. It's going to be interesting. A lot of people don't actually even have him in their top 5, but I think he's going to kill it at the combine. I don't remember if he's going to the Senior Bowl or not. I hope he is.
I don't think so.
I think he's at Shrine.
I think he's at the Shrine Bowl.
I could be
That's what I was
wrong.
going to say. I think he's at the Shrine Bowl.
He's at the Shrine Bowl? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as long as he's somewhere showing off, I mean, that's fine. And then 1 and 2, I think this is pretty much every single person's 1 and 2. There's no interchanging them either. Like, this is pretty much locked in place. I mean, with Ja'Tavion Sanders, obviously hook him. Had to put that in there. But he's good at everything. I don't like his blocking ability, though, which is actually a problem with a lot of tight ends in this class. They just can't block. They cannot block. Precisely in the pass game, which is kind of odd. Usually you see that in the run game where they can't block. But a lot of these guys cannot pass block at all. Really, he's less suited for like the traditional tight end kind of role in a way because he's kind of light for the tight end position. You usually see guys with a little bit more weight on them than what Sanders has. He doesn't have a lot of experience as a blocker, which gives me some hope that he can be that kind of a blocker at the next level. But I'm not going to buy too much hope into him being a good blocker. But I mean, for his strengths, though, I mean, he's a reliable receiver. He has great deep speed and great route running ability. He has fluid hips. He's in strong hands. Yeah. And if you're going to put a linebacker on him, good luck. Good luck. There's not a linebacker in this draft. And I'd probably say there's only 5 or 6 linebackers currently in the NFL that can cover Ja'Tavion Sanders in the open field.
Oh, man. That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement.
I'm serious on it.
Yeah.
And he has some of the best hands I think I've seen from tight end probably since Mark Andrews.
Woof. So you really like Ja'Tavion Sanders?
Yeah. But then at number 1, I mean, is there really much that needs to be said? The past 3 years, we knew who number 1 in this tight end was going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a generational talent. I mean, I don't even think there even needs to be anything said about Brock Bowers. He's going to go top 15. Depends on which team. It's kind of like the Kyle Pitts situation. Do we really want to take a tight end that early? Obviously, the Falcons did. I do think that there's a possibility the Chargers do go that route if some miracle way Neighbors is off the board there. But I mean, besides that, I mean, Bowers is. I think Bowers. There's 2 generational players in this draft for me, and Bowers is one of them.
Who's the second?
Caleb Williams.
Oh, so you're on the train that Brock is a better prospect than Marvin too.
I am actually. I wouldn't say Marvin's not generational. However, for those guys we think about coming out in the draft, it's like a once in a lifetime pick. Brock Bowers is that. And not saying Marvin Harrison Jr. won't prove that he can be, but I'm not buying that he is.
I want to hear
that. However, is my tight end list.
I want to hear your opinion on this, Ken, quickly before we go to the offensive line. Is it Brock is generational because we've never seen him, and we've seen Marvin kind of before, or is Brock generational because he's just flat out better than Marvin as a whole player? Like, what is it for y'all?
For me, I'm more leaning on the fact of I'll agree and say there's 3. I do like Marvin Harrison Jr. as a prospect. I do think he's a very special talent. I think what it happens to be also, don't get me wrong, Brock Bowers is Brock fucking Bowers. Like, I'm not taking that away from him. But at the same time, when you look at his peers, and it's just like, he's so much better. And now I think the reason why people look at Marvin Harrison Jr. is, oh well, he's the number one. He's a dime a dozen, is because the receivers this year, and not even just this year, but the last 3 to 4 years, haven't been playing. Like, they've been on a whole nother level. They've been on a crazy uptick. So I think that's kind of the mindset on why people view Marvin Harrison Jr. as that way. I still think he's a generational talent because he's a freak. He's really good at everything, and he's 6'4", so it's insane. But I can also see why people don't see him in that light as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, with putting Marvin in that situation. I just don't. I think you see too many of those prototype wide receivers come into the league. I mean, you see those kind of like once in a generational. They said the same thing for Chase. I mean, Chase is amazing. I'm not saying anything against Chase. I mean, we just see these type of players enter the league every year. I mean, like last year, your arguably number 1 tight end was Kincaid or Michael Mayer. Neither one of those guys are Brock Bowers. I mean, same thing the year before. I want to say it was McBride and one other person. I forgot who it was, but I mean, same thing. Neither of them were Brock Bowers. In the past 10 years, I think your only comparison to being a generational tight end is Kyle Pitts. And honestly, I think Brock Bowers is a better prospect coming out than Kyle Pitts was coming out.
I just got one question.
So we can go to
you don't like JB at all, huh?
I don't like who?
He do not fuck with JB at all. Jaheim Bell. He do not fuck with him at all.
No.
Bell, I think, is currently my 8th overall. Gonna be honest. I'm not about it. I got I know I have the dude from Minnesota 6th, the one that's at the Senior Bowl.
Ford.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a question for you though. How do you feel about Cade Stover? Because some of our draft pundits in the community are in love with him. So how do you feel about Cade Stover, Burner?
If there was a trash can next to me, I could show you. That's what I would give you for Cade Stover.
Damn.
Oh man.
He's my 10. I currently have Cade Stover as a round grade late 6.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh brother.
I'd rather pick another Luke Schoonmaker.
Damn, cuz.
Oh no! You know what? That's perfect segue. Perfect segue because in Alex's absence, aka the Schoonmaker lover himself, we are going to talk about offensive line. I'm gonna quickly go through his rankings because he's not here. I'm not gonna, cheat him out of, explaining his picks, but I will go through his players.
What? Really?
Oh man, just let me read it. Y'all say what y'all want afterwards. Let me read it. Talise Fuaga, tackle from Oregon State, is his tackle 1. Joe Alt is his tackle 2 from Notre Dame. 3, Olu Fashanu, is tackle 3. 4, J.C. Latham from Alabama. 5, Kingsley. Help me out, Cam.
I think it's
Mataya.
Sumataya.
Sumataya. Suwama Mataya.
Yeah, Suamataya.
Suamataya.
Yeah, I
From
think it's
Hawaii.
Suamataya.
I almost got it. Okay. Have at it. Tear report. I actually, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't have an issue with this list, and I'm gonna tell you why. And maybe because it's just fresh in my head, but since we're doing, Senior Bowl stuff, I just cut Talise Fuaga tape. That nigga's a stud. I'm sorry, that Polynesian is a stud.
That's not even my problem with the list. I actually agree with that. I completely agree with that.
Cook.
So what
Cook,
is all
Cook,
over
Cook.
Olu?
My problem is having JC over Kingsley. I don't see that.
Oof. And Dalen likes JC too. I don't like JC. Why don't you like JC? Why don't you like JC? I want to hear why you don't like JC.
I mean, I just don't think it's going to translate to the next level. I mean, I just don't.
Because Dalen sees him as like a Tyler Smith.
And I see him like
but
an
I
Alex
see
Leatherwood.
JC Latham as a... No, I'll give you one word. I see him like Evan Neal.
Oh.
Now, he's got a higher floor than Evan Neal. But you see those pre-snap penalties?
Yeah.
Big body, but it's always reaching when blocking. No bueno. So
you can be big all you want, but if you're not fundamentally sound as an offensive lineman, good luck transferring over to the NFL. Good luck.
For sure. Cam?
Only thing I'm kind of surprised about is I'm like, damn, how far Olu has
You said it
fallen.
right. All over Fashanu. Fashanu was his darling over summer scouting.
That's what I'm saying. How far Olu has fallen in his eyes? Because I did not expect that.
Now I'm not gonna lie to you. The Olu tape this year wasn't great. It was not great. So maybe that had a positive effect on it. Maybe it had a negative effect on him. But no.
Tragic.
No. Interior offensive line. Alex had his rankings in right here. Number 1, pretty obvious for me at least. Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon, extremely talented dude. Shout out to your mom, man, for following us on Twitter. Salute. Graham Barton, interior guy from Duke. Cooper Beebe, interior guy from Kansas State. Sed Van Pran at 4. Zach Zenner at 5. I know where I'm looking. Where are y'all looking at this list? Because, oh man, we got to talk, Alex. I didn't see this one. I didn't see BB over Van Pran.
I like the Zach Zenner level. I was on that. I was thinking that he wasn't going to put Zenner on his top 5.
Yeah, Zenner's fine. But Alex hated Cooper Beebe. Like, I asked Alex to do a film session of Cooper Beebe. He said no.
Yeah.
He said no. Like, he hated him.
Literally.
And now you have him on Van Pran.
He was fighting tooth and nail to not do it. I remember that. It was funny. Nah, that's crazy. Hey man, Alex is turning over new leaves, man. That's crazy.
This is very interesting.
He's unpredictable. I like it.
This is I like Cedric Van Pern a lot. Now, I rate Graham Barton. He's a guard for me. So I get that. But to have 2 guards over Cedric Van Pran, man, I'm just really shocked by that one, Burner.
Yeah, no, I agree. BB would probably be my 5. I'd probably push 4 and 5 up and move BB down to 5. But I think 1 and 2, I don't think you can change. Jackson Powers, I mean, he's obviously the best center in this draft, and Barton's probably the second best interior offensive lineman in this draft, and I don't think it's really close.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just those last 3.
For sure. All right, well, that is going to conclude our 2024 NFL draft offensive preview. These are just our initial quarter 1 rankings. We're calling it quarter 1 as far as doing these top 5 sorts. We'll do a couple more of these before we do the actual rankings and unveil everything to everybody officially. Like it's set in stone, not changing. But yep. Thank you to everyone who watched this episode of the podcast, who listened to this episode of the podcast. We greatly appreciate your time. And as always, remember, consider subscribing to this channel, man. We have been really dedicated and really on our grind this draft cycle. I don't think I brought this up before, but this draft cycle, we are trying to get monetized on YouTube. We believe that the work we put in, the passion that we have for the game of football, the knowledge that we have for the game of football, deserves to put money in our pockets. So if you can consider subscribing to this channel, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you're listening to this on audio format, please give us a 5-star review, a 5-star rating, so that we can continue to grow on that aspect as well. I'm Marty, from Burner, from Cam, everybody filming this art. Thank you for tuning into 100 Yards in Context, Episode 3 / our 2024 Offensive Preview.